let me introduce ourselves. My name is Juan Salas. She's Reyna Mendez, and we are instructors at UNR Extension. First, we want to begin with the roadmap for the state of Nevada. Many are not familiar with this fantastic tool, but at the state of Nevada website, Department of Business and Industry, there is a roadmap. This roadmap, which you can see it right here, is basically an interactive PDF. And what it does is can tell you all the associations and business resources that we have here in town, and mostly are free, that you can access, about certifications, funding, business location. And in this particular class, we are gonna talk about planning, okay? And the planning section has some links about some score advisors, the Canvanizer, which is a tool, a resource that we strongly suggest if you are gonna start working on your Canvas. And please visit their website, download the roadmap. It is very handy. You don't have to start looking for resources in Google. You can just try to focus on resources here in Nevada. Okay, and this is for rural Nevada. This is for anywhere in Nevada. So today we're going to be talking about Canvas. What can you tell us about the business process, Reyna?
Well, good morning, everybody, first. And I just want to tell you a little bit of my background. I've been instructor for UNR about like 2 years now. And it's been an amazing journey. My background is in international trade and marketing and training workforce. So today we're going to talk about Canvas. This is a great way to start if you are an entrepreneur. If you're not an entrepreneur, you already have a business, doesn't matter. It's going to help you to kind of organize your business in a better way. So first, before talking about Canvas, I always like to start with this idea that when you start a business, of course, you think that you have a great idea, that you're going to take this idea and you're going to make a business out of this idea and you're going to have success. Not always happen this way. And that's why it's so important to create a business canvas model prior to even adventure into entrepreneurship. Or if you are a business already, just take a moment to think about your idea again and try to reshape it if you think it's failing in some areas, okay? So this is our ideal, right? We have an idea, then we create a business, and then we have success. Next slide, please, Juan. Before anything, there's, I really believe that there are 4 points you have to consider, even if you have your business already, or if you're planning to get into a new business venture. First, you need to really know what type of business, what type of category your business or your product is going to be. Is your product a need? Is your product a want, or is a product a demand? Let me give you an example of this. Let's say water, okay, a bottle of water. Drinking water, it is a need. You have to drink water, otherwise you're gonna die. It's okay, so water, it is a need. How water can become a want? Well, maybe your bottled water that you sell has a special process, has a special taste, and then it becomes a want. And then how it's going to become a demand? Okay, maybe your water has electrolytes, a special water design. Maybe your water is from Kilimanjaro Mount. Okay, so What I'm trying to tell you is that something that is really, it could be a need, it also becomes a demand later on your business. But you need to identify in which category are you in order to create a strategy, okay? Because if you don't know where you at, you're not going to be able to know how to launch your product properly. Let me give you another example, insurance, okay? Insurance, having car insurance, it is a need because if you don't have a car insurance, you're not able to drive because it's mandatory, okay? But insurance, car insurance can become a want. Let's say if I wanted to get more protected, more liability, maybe instead of the minimum of 25,000, I might want to get 50,000. So that's, I'm changing, okay? That's not a need for me. That's a want. I want to get more coverage because I'm able to pay for it, okay? And then how insurance can become a demand. Maybe we're not talking about car insurance. Maybe we're talking about life insurance, okay? That's not mandatory. That's something that I want to have because I want to feel comfy with my future or my kids or
Even
whoever.
though, even though we are all gonna die, but yes.
Exactly. But yes, it is not mandatory to have life insurance, but it is a demand. So there's, especially if you have like, if you sell like a different type of life insurances, then it's going to be a demand because you have like a different type of life insurance for each of your customers' needs. So that's how I explain this need, wants, and demands. So you need to be sure where your product is in order to launch properly, okay? The second one that is very important is, do you have enough potential customers? Maybe your idea is good, and I'm not saying it's not, but maybe there are not going to be potential customers for that idea. So you have to be make sure that there are a lot of fish on the tank, okay? Now, of course, the third one is going to be economic benefit. I'm not going to do this for free. I want to create a business and I want to make profit. Okay. So, what are going to be my economic benefits? How much this industry is going to give me? What is my return of investment? Is it 30%? It is 10%? It is 50%? Sometimes, you know, a lot of companies, they sell at a wholesale level, they make a lot of money because they sell in volume. Okay, so maybe it is only like 10%, but if you sell a lot of volume, then it's going to be profitable for you. So you have to make sure what is your economic benefit that is going to provide you enough economic benefit for your effort. Okay. And the fourth one, of course, is going to be competition. You're always going to have competition. So you have to make sure that the way that you design your business model or your product model, it's going to have some different value than what is on the market, like how you're going to differentiate from the others. And we'll talk about that in a minute. If you have any questions regarding this fourth points that I think are important, let me know. You can use the chat or you can use the Q&A. Anyway, you're going to receive the slides, so don't worry about it.
Also,
Next slide, please.
if you want to share what is your industry, what is your business, we can start relating and giving more examples for
Yeah,
that particular industry.
exactly. Anyway, at the end of the class, also, I'm going to give you some resources for you to, you know, practice and all that stuff. So what is the Canvas model? The Canvas model, it is not a business plan. So do not get confused. A lot of organizations like SBA, SCORE, or the SBA or some funding is going to require a business plan. This is not a business plan. This is a business model. The difference between this and the other one is that the business plan is more detailed. It has more areas. It has to have some financial calculations in there. So they're a little bit more complicated. This is only like a business model. It is very simple. It is very, it's only one page. And it kind of gives you the overview of how your business is going to be planned in all different areas. We're going to talk about 9 different blocks. Can you just change the slide? So basically, this Canvas model is for you to provide and kind of organize the value of your company, okay? What your company has to offer as a business to your potential customers. So what is the Canvas model? Well, it is visual. It is very flexible. It is flexible because you can change, you can add some bullet points, you can switch to different bullet points during the course of your business. And it's very easy to understand. Okay, this is very simple. It's nothing complicated. And like I said, at the end, I'm going to give you some resources for you to practice and kind of like create an action plan. So what I like about Canvas model is it's going to take in consideration every single function of your business. We're going to talk about financial, we're going to talk about marketing, we're going to talk about customer relationships. So you'll see in a moment. And basically the model is going to help you to describe and visualize, which is I think very important. You have to have a tool that you're able to visualize your goals into your business. And you're going to kind of create it's like about like your marketing plan and also your financial plan at the same in the same sheet
Page. Yeah.
in the same page. Yeah. So this is how a Canvas model looks like. It's like I said, it's very simple. It's a very simple design. There's nothing complicated there.
It's
So basically,
simple design, but it has you can spend a day in this page.
oh yeah, of course.
Brainstorming. I like it because I see it like a conversation between me and my business. You know, identifying what are the parts.
Right. And not just between you and your business. You can if you have team members, like if you have employees, if you have partners, it's something that for sure you're going to need to sit down and talk about and discuss. So we have key partners, we have key activities, we have key resources, we have the value proposition that I think is the fundamental of the Canvas model. We're going to talk about customer relationship, customer segments, channels, cost, structure, and revenue streams. Okay, those are the 9 blocks. We're going to talk about them right now. Next slide. Okay, the value proposition. And I said this last class, your value proposition is basically what do you offer? What problems do you solve? Can you go to the other slide? No, the other one. No, that one. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so basically you have to organize your ideas about how you're going to deliver value to your customers. And that's what I was talking about, competition. Okay. You want to create your own strategy and differentiate yourself from other businesses that are in the same industry. And this is about research. This is about different ideas that you can take in place. Put in place. And it's about to educate your potential customers about what do you offer. And a lot of businesses, believe it or not, they struggle to give the message, to deliver this message in a clear way. Sometimes they get lost and they just in social media or in any other social media channels, they just present the product and they think that because they're presenting the product, it's going to sell. So you need to be very clear about what do you offer and what problems do you solve again. Okay, so this is like an overview of the value proposition. you can see on the square side that you are going to create gains. Okay, so those gains are going to be the ones that you are going to present in your product. And then at the bottom, you say pain relievers. And we'll give you an example, okay, in a minute. So you have the pain relievers at the bottom, and then you have your product and services on the other side. And in the circle is what customer expects to get from you, okay? So your customer expect to gain something out of your product, and they expect to resolve some pains that they have that you are relieving in the other side, okay? So in I think this example is about a restaurant, right, Juan? This is
Yes, it
about
is a
our
restaurant.
organic restaurant, yes,
Hmm.
or vegan food or whatever, kind of like a healthy food industry, okay? Then the example is that in the side of the customer, in the circle, they expect to gain healthy food without sacrificing the flavor, because a lot of people that has to eat good because they have a disease, because of healthy reasons, whatever, health problems, they don't want to sacrifice flavor. So a lot of them, they think that healthy food tastes like nothing, and that's a very conceived idea, believe me. My mom is like that. She's like, no, it's not gonna taste good. So people wants to is expecting to gain healthy food with good flavor and time saving, because they don't have the time to cook. Okay, so these three are the gains that people expecting, your potential customer are expecting from a healthy food restaurant or a healthy food industry. Okay, so what pains are you going to relieve them? Unhealthy habits. Okay, so you want to change the way that they eat properly, that they eat better, so they feel better. Okay, so that's the pain that you're going to relieve for them, right? So if you already identify your customer and what your customer expectations are and what your customer's pains are, then you're going to present your product the way that matches these expectations, these gains, and these pains. And that's why in the square side of the picture, you see that the gains are healthy choices, okay, reliable service, and a tasty experience. So you are matching, okay, your product with the customer expectations. So that's the way how you're going to build your value proposition. You want to add something, Juan?
Yeah, value proposition. I think this is the the main the main block. If you have this pretty clear, and sometimes people say that this is your elevator pitch, or some people say that the circle is basically your avatar of your client. This
Mhm.
is how you describe your ideal client, with certain expectations, with certain pains, and they need to accomplish. That's what we mean by the customer's job. They need to accomplish these goals: healthy,
Mhm.
eat healthy, special diet, allergies, avoid allergies. So on the other side, you are matching whatever they need. And sometimes your product is fantastic. You just have to give it a little bit of a twitch to accommodate the ideal avatar on the other side. And
Exactly.
what are we?
And
Go ahead.
go ahead. And it, what I wanted to say too is that this is the foundation of your marketing strategies too. Okay, if you don't know how to present your product, you're not going to reach the correct audience or your correct customer. So that's why this is very important for you to work on, and you have to really give a thought. Um, if it's only you and your business, well, that's good. But if you have a team, if you have partners, then it's something that you need to discuss together and really think about this, because all your marketing campaigns or all your Instagram, your visuals, okay, they have to kind of have this, follow this foundation, okay?
And we're gonna try to give you some examples how to adjust or how to use the Canvas model to adjust your business. In this particular example, the dining part, basically is out of the picture. We cannot rely on dining restaurants that much, so we had to add the delivery and pickup option
Yeah,
to our products and services. Okay, and we're gonna try to put some examples. But again, share your industry. Now maybe we can talk about your particular industry as well.
sure.
So value proposition is in the middle. What else? What else?
Okay,
What's the next step, Reyna?
the next step is going to be your customer segment. And segmentation is also key because it's going to help you to kind of like know who your customer is. I know we were talking about the pain and gains, but in this case, customer segments, you're going to make these questions to yourself and to your business. For whom are we creating value? Who are our paying customers? Who has the money? Who's going to pay for my service? Who's going to pay for my product? It has to have a certain income. It has to have a certain culture. It has to have a certain, it has to be informed about a certain service or product. Even for example, I following the healthy food industry, I put these three descriptions of a potential customer you might have. Okay. In this case, would be young professionals, because young people tend to be more informed, especially if they're professional, tend to be more informed about healthy habits. People who has diet restrictions, people who has health problems, people who has diabetes, people who has high blood pressure, that they have to eat properly or better, people who has allergies to certain type of food or products. Okay, so that's the example I gave you to create your customer segment. So remember, there's two questions: is for whom are we creating value, and who has the money, pretty much who's going to pay for what you offer. And that way you can direct your marketing efforts to the right person, to the right segment. And you're not wasting time trying to convert someone or trying to target customers that are not going to be your customers. Let's see, for example, in Las Vegas metro area, okay, the demographics they eat healthy food are Green Valley. Okay, so there's a lot of organic restaurants at Green Valley. So that's the target area for you if you are into the healthy food industry. So that's how you identify how to market properly and how to get to the potential customer instead of going around and losing time trying to convert someone that is not going to be your customer. Next slide. Now, the customer relationships. This is basically how you're going to interact with these people, how you're going to find your customers and how you're going to interact with them. If your customer has a certain age, you might want to reach them at certain social media channels. Okay. If you have a product that it is very crafty, you might want to reach them in another type of channel. So it's basically how you're going to interact with them. With the pandemic situation, a lot of businesses are not taking in-person appointments for services, or are not taking in-person in the restaurants, for example. They only doing carry out or deliveries. So now maybe the way that you are going to interact to create a customer relationship is going to be over the phone. It's going to be over Zoom. It's going to be over social media. So you have to know how you're going to interact with them in order to create the right campaign for your product or your service. Okay.
Yeah, reservations in restaurants are becoming a new thing
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
because
Not
there's limited space.
right.
So you
Right.
have to have reservations.
The other day I went to, I don't know if it was Applebee's or Olive Garden, but I went there and they were like, you know what?
You
Our
don't have
next available
reservations.
time is like at 9 a.m., 9 p.m. And it was like 7 p.m. And I didn't know that they were working like that now. Because like a month ago or 2 months ago, you were just go and have a seat, but now a table, but now it looks like that they're doing this reservation. So you have to make sure that however you're going to interact with your potential customers is going to be the right channel. Okay. Now let's talk about channels. Okay, how I'm going to find them? Where are they? And how they're going to buy my product or my service. Well, in that particular case, this example, this healthy restaurant, they had to switch it to dine in to carry out. Okay, and maybe to order and pay online through different delivery platforms, food delivery platforms. And they start to create social media platforms to kind of reach their customers, maybe through Facebook, maybe through Instagram, maybe through you know uh, Twitter or Google or Yelp or whatever channel they decide to they think it is more it's better for them. So the channel is that it's basically which where are they, how I'm going to find them, and what type of strategy I'm going to use to reach them.
The
If
ones
you
that
you have like a really young audience or a really young customer, you're going to find them in Instagram for sure. If they are really young, you're going to find them in TikTok. So it all depends. It's going to depend on your industry. So try to do your proper research to know where these potential customers are. So those are going to be your channels, pretty much.
and the ones that are that have an asterisk um, next to them are basically kind of the new ones, the ones that you have to adapt in your Canvas model
Right.
during the pandemic. So we kind of scratch ones that are kind of not relevant and as much as relevant as they were before, and we add up the new ones with the asterisks. Okay, so the Canvas
And
model is basically brainstorming all time and changing and adapting.
exactly. And that's why I'm giving you questions. I mean, that's why in each of the blocks, I'm giving you questions. So these questions you have to ask yourself, and then you have to answer it. And that's why it has you have to have this how to find them, and then do your research and then answer. And that's that dynamic of the Canvas model.
Okie dokie.
And I think that's my yeah, I think that's my participation.
Okay, so revenue
Right.
streams. You're not leaving, so it's okay.
No, I'm not leaving. I'm just like Juan is going to help you with more with the financial portion of the Canvas. Okay.
Revenue streams. Revenue streams is on the customer side as well. Okay, the customer needs something. You have identified that you can cover that need. So the revenue streams are gonna be carry out, maybe like a pick up basket. That's becoming a new thing for restaurants. Maybe they sell you the stuff, for example, pizzas that you can put all the ingredients, everything, take it nicely frozen or ready to cook, put it on the oven at home, and you have it hot and ready at home at your discretion. Because
Yeah.
sometimes delivery might not be an option. They want to have it like a more home feeling cooking. So hey, you can pick up all the ingredients and have everything you need, just put it on the oven and get it done.
I just want to add something in revenue streams. My mom used to say, "Don't put all your eggs on the same, on the basket." And this pretty much to diversify your business. Okay, try to not to depend much on just one way to sell. Okay, if let's put an example. I'm going to give you the example of Panera Bread. They are diversifying, and the way that they're doing it is they creating memberships. Okay, so let's say that you can buy your membership for $8.99 of unlimited coffee for a month fee. Okay, so you're paying $8 per month to get all the coffee that you want, just to go to any Panera Bread, get your coffee in the morning, and go to work. Okay, they're still selling everything else. Okay, they're still selling their food and everything. They're just adding this extra service through the already revenue streams. Okay, so this is a new way they are making money. And you're gonna say, oh, okay, an $8.99 per month. I mean, but Panera Bread is a big company. Okay, so it's everywhere. And can you imagine if 1,000 people or 2,000 people are paying $8.99 a month? That's a big revenue stream. So that's the way that you want to think when you are creating your business. Okay, what are other ways you can make money out of this? Okay,
And
so just do not, yeah, kind of like diversify your products. How many influencers you see on YouTube, for example, they sell their different they have like an educational platform. They sell courses online, training online, and they're making all different type of revenue stream, not just their views. They're not depending on their views to make money. They're diversifying their portfolio. So that's kind of why you want to think when you are creating your business or you already have your business. Try to diversify. That's very important.
also the concept of memberships, it's very powerful, because if you are getting a free coffee, but
Exactly.
you're already here, so you're already at the Paneras, I already got my free coffee, maybe I should just buy one muffin to go along with my coffee.
Right.
So the person came for the free coffee, but actually is getting out with more than a free coffee.
Exactly.
The whole point was to have exposure and have the client at the door,
And
where the
right.
client is smelling the muffins, is watching the muffins, and wants a muffin now. So that's kind of the
Exactly.
diversification strategy sometimes.
Mhm.
In the supermarkets now, I see more of these pickup baskets. You see like big freezers when they have the all the ingredients for a particular food. You wanna eat some Thai food tonight? Okay, here are all the ingredients, everything in a package. Just take it home, and you can have, like restaurant food made at home at your convenience. So everything that is a revenue stream, think about it. We have wonderful products,
Mhm.
but you can package that idea. You can assess that need in different ways, like the membership example.
Exactly.
The diversified products, the milk example was a good example during the pandemic. That in many stores you can just see them selling milk, because nobody wanted to go to the supermarket. It was too risky. So hey, right now that I'm buying something else, and they have milk. Okay, I'll take a gallon of milk as well. Key partners. Key partners. In this particular section, to the my left or your left of value proposition, where you have the key partners, key activities, and key resources. These three sections, think about an assessment of skills, assessment of the people you need, assessment of resources that you need to make the other side happen. Okay, so key partners, who who are our suppliers and service providers for the restaurants. Of course, you need your suppliers. You need a backup supplier as well. Sometimes you need your key partners are banks, particularly right now with all these SBA funds, PPP loans. You need a banker relationship well established to facilitate that cash flow. You have to partner with delivery apps, if specifically in the restaurant, or if you're selling things online. You need a reliable partner that's gonna take that product to the final destination. You see a lot of applications, many of them for the restaurants. We want to mention specific names. So also you got funding options. Sometimes you need that extra cash, and you better develop the relationship now, because bankers say sometimes, you have to develop the relationship when you don't need the money. Because when you develop the
Exactly.
relationship when you need the money, might not be the right time. You might be too late into the relationship. Okay,
Mhm.
so develop the relationship with the key partners when you are not in trouble. Okay, key activities. Key activities is also, think about assessment of what needs to be done, and can you do it yourself, or do you have to hire more people, you have to train more people, you have to create procedures for this and that. It's an assessment of procedures and skills. In a restaurant, cleaning is very, very important. Now we got a whole team of cleaners coming up with humidifiers and wipes and dressing like a nuclear problem. You need somebody that is good taking orders. You need somebody on the pickup lane. Maybe your restaurant, your establishment didn't have a pickup lane before, so now you have to break that wall and make a pickup lane. Taking orders online right now, uh, you need somebody that is well trained and knowledgeable in Facebook, in taking orders, in good with the computers and the phones, and multitasking sometimes, because you need somebody. You might not need as many servers as before, because everything is
Exactly.
taking place online. So you might need an IT person more than something else. Social media management, digital marketing. Those are key activities. You need somebody that is going to be answering to posts, answering to questions online, and be quick on their feet. No, not on
Yes.
their feet, but quick on with their mouths now. That they can get to that customer, answer the questions, keep that customer engaged, so he can finalize the purchase, the transaction with you. Key resources. Key resources. What resources do we use? For example, you need employees, you need supplies, you need social media skills, you might need a vehicle to do this, you might need a new server, you might need a new computer, you might need new software to develop your flyers, to create more appealing images for your Facebook page. You're gonna need a virtual bookkeeper. Sometimes we used to go to offices and talk to the bookkeepers. Now you might need somebody that has all that virtual equipment that can assist you with your taxes, with your accounting, with everything online, because there's
Mhm.
no that personal relationship anymore. It's not possible at the moment. So you might need resources that facilitate to do all these things online. Virtual bookkeeper, virtual assistant. Sometimes you move many of the operations at home, so you might need an ideal place at home. you know, the having a home office is a must now. It's not like a luxury or something that, oh, I have a home office. That's very nice. That's very
Right.
chic. No, right now you need a home office. You need some space for the kids. I see the other day, I was, I there was a post from an agency, from an insurance agency, and the insurance agency was saying, "Hey, I'm selling 2 desks and 2 chairs, and please give me your best price." So some friends, they were worried about her. Okay, are you closing your business? Is everything good? People would assume that they were closing their business. No, in reality, her business was doing great, but she had to change some of the resources and the key activities at her main office. She was selling all the desks and the chairs because she needed to create a child space, because the kids were not going home. I mean, they were not going to school. So to facilitate all the other activities at the office, she has to create a space for their children to be safe so she can work at the office at the same time. So things are moving around. Things are changing. Some key activities like a child space was not essential before, but right now it is. Okay, more reliable internet, more equipment. Uh, you need more cameras, more mics, things like that. So definitely, that's gonna affect that particular section, the cost structure.
And if you want, if you just allow me, Juan, I just wanted to say also in key resources, talk about the the products, because your key resources, if for example, if you have like a bakery, the cost of flour, the cost of sugar, if that's a key resource too, because if the price of the sugar goes up, then your cost of your product is going to go up. So it's a way that you kind of price your products and services too. So you have to be aware of those key resources too. Like it's about, they could be material.
Mhm.
It could be your the products that you use to create your own product. Okay. So you have to take in consideration that prices too. Who are your suppliers? If one supplier is giving you, maybe increasing the price in a certain material, then you might want to consider to get another supplier. So those things are also key resources.
The beauty about the canvas model is that once you start thinking about one block, you're gonna have to modify the other. For example, right now the she said about key resources, sugar and flour. Okay, did
Mhm.
I put that as one of my key partners or not? So you go back and identify that as a key partner. So everything it's like coming is the same but in a different perspective. You got your IT provider. If your internet goes down, you can
Right.
be out of sales for that particular day. So, do you
Right.
have a backup? Maybe like a wireless router that you can use.
Right.
Security. right now is a big thing.
If you
So
have, for example, if you have an online store and you're selling online, you might want to make sure that your platform is secure for your potential customers.
mhm.
That the credit card information is going to be secure. So that's something that is very important for you. So you have to take it in consideration.
Backup website. Nobody does that, but you have to back up your website. If your website disappears or some of the elements just crash,
Yes,
what happens if you don't have a website anymore, or you have to develop all the attributes again? It can be a nightmare. So that all is gonna bottle down as well to your cost structure. You know, what are the most important costs? You're gonna have cost like fixed cost, variable cost, and you know the extra cost: rent, salary, cost of goods sold, IT infrastructure. Right now, delivery and build out. Um, the the delivery companies, they don't do it for free. Okay, and the
exactly.
final
They take a
customer,
portion.
the customer sees that shipping, feels that shipping cost on their pocket.
Mhm.
So you have to consider that as well. The you might have no, you don't probably don't get anything of that shipping cost into your business. Somebody else is doing it, but the customer is gonna feel it because they have to pay for it. Okay, so that's also in your cost structure. Um, I think the most important thing is your what they call your break even point. You know, how much do you actually need to spend to keep the doors open? Right
Mhm.
now, a lot of businesses are cutting back on on rent expenses because they realize that many things can be done in the virtual world. The customers are more receptive about that idea, so because they feel safe as well. So hey, maybe you can switch some things around in your cost structure. It's better to get a more reliable computer, a more reliable internet, pay more for internet and cost and reduce your cost on something else, maybe employee hours and things like that. Okay,
Mhm.
so it is always an evolving idea. With Reyna, we suggest you make this part of your wall, you know, the wall that you look all the
Yeah.
time in your house, you know, maybe on top of your monitor, so you look
Yeah.
at the canvas model and brainstorm. You never know, some
and and you know
clicks that
and
light.
And you know what, Juan, in this part of the Canvas model, the cost structure, you're going to realize if this business is going to be profitable or not. I mean, you're going to be able to know what's your revenue is going to be. If it's going to be 10%, it's going to be 20, it's going to be 35, it's going to be 50.
Mhm.
How much you're how much money you're expecting to make out of this business.
And how much are
Uh,
you're gonna pay yourself as well?
Exactly.
How
And
many
you have to
hours you're
take in
investing?
consideration that you have to have a salary, and then you have to contemplate to add that salary into your pricing. We had a class last year about how to price correctly, how to price your product in the correct way, because I know that a lot of small business owners struggle with the pricing, because they think if they sell cheap, then they're going to get more customers, but sometimes it's just not the pricing. Okay,
It's gonna break you.
you cannot compete with price, and you have to compete in some other areas better than just price.
Yeah, your
I
mortgage
mean,
and your rent expenses are not going down.
right, unless that you do wholesale and things like that, that you get products really cheap and from China, and I don't know. But if it's not the case, I don't recommend to compete with pricing, and I do recommend to really think about how you're going to add those costs to your pricing. You have to be smart with that.
So customer needs, wants, and expectations have changed. That has happened a year
Exactly.
ago. already and still
Yes.
happening. So how are you going to change your business model? Maybe you just start business or you already have established business, but definitely you have to do this. Make adjustments as you need.
Mm-hmm.
Let's You have to, uh, like we say, grab a large chunk of your wall space, print and draw the canvas on a big sheet of paper, try to think about it, brainstorm about this, have plenty of sticky notes and markers ready. This can be a fun activity. Just I have an idea, put it on a sticky note, put it on the right section. Allow
Mm-hmm.
yourself time to think and change your canvas model as often as necessary. This is an ongoing conversation between you and your business, right? And
Right.
keep your model in a place where you can see it every day. Definitely, definitely, definitely. You are working on your business every day. You're working for your business every day. So you should think about your business, how to adapt it and make it better every day as well.
Yeah.
This is where you have to take action and make things definitely happen for your business.
And I just want to talk about the resources, because the small business owners can always ask me for a little bit of resources out there. They can try. Canvanizer.com is a good tool. You can go there and you can practice to do your model canvas, your canvas model there. You can go to businessmodelsinc.com. They have a lot of interactive tools to help you to create your canvas model and organize every block of the business. And these three books that I am giving you right there, I have Amazon Prime, I have Amazon Kindle Unlimited, and I get them to read them for zero because I have the membership. But you might be able to find a PDF somewhere. So the first book, Lean Inception: How to Align People and Build the Right Product. It's going to help you to. It's going to focus on the product, on launching a product, how to make it right, and it's going to help you a lot to practice how to present your product. Okay, and this book, you can read the chapter that says Lean Inception Activities. That's the chapter that you want to read. You don't want to read the whole book, but that particular chapter is going to help you to understand how to launch your product properly. The second book, Entrepreneur Canvas, is going to help you more to set up your goals. Okay, so there's a chapter that talks about how to create objectives, how to create goals for your business. That's the particular portion of the book you want to read. And the third one, developing an effective business plan. Go to the chapter 1. That's how in that chapter is going to explain you how to differentiate from the business plan and a business model, and it's going to give you some pretty cool examples of how to do it on your own in a very practical way. So try these three books to kind of give you an idea of how to create your own business model.
Perfect. Thank you.
And thanks, everybody. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you, everybody.
great weekend.